Hello, I'm Surfer Clock.
And I'm Tab G.
And welcome to What's the Attraction, where our work is your vacation.
Start your engines, ladies and gentlemen. It's a day of the races here at What's the Attraction, and we are stoked because today's race car attraction makes NASCAR look like, professionals.
This is the Tomorrowland Speedway, because admit it, you've always wanted to go to Disney World to drive go-karts.
We took a spin earlier today. We were not enthralled. In fact, some of us tried to make it interesting.
And I've got it all on YouTube. It went viral.
Wait, what did?
Just watch.
This driver in a cowboy hat thought he could outrun Disney security, but thanks to Magic Kingdom's Eye in the Sky chopper, he won't be going much of anywhere. He drives straight into the pit area and is soon boxed in by the other vehicles. Looks like he's going nowhere. But before the officers can move in, he surprises everyone by jumping off the center rail and driving out into the park's walkway, endangering countless lives. This maniac could severely bump someone and cause a large welt, but officers won't let that happen. Finally, the insanity quiets down as this desperate desperado pulls over by Stitch's great escape. But we can see he intentionally ruptures his gas tank and splashes gasoline all over the attraction. He takes out a lighter, but Officer Holmes and a goateed civilian tackle him before anything happens. It's all over for this fugitive. Yo-ho, a pyro's life for him? Not anymore.
Who filmed that? Was that you?
That's not important.
Kinda is to me.
Fair enough. But before we can talk about the Tomorrowland Speedway, we need to go back to the Disneyland original, Autopia.
You're just gonna keep tuning me out.
In 1955, one of the Disneyland original attractions, Autopia, opened as a huge hit. At this point in time, highways and highway driving did represent the future. President Eisenhower still had yet to sign the interstate highway legislation to build more freeways.
Freeway? What the heck's a freeway?
8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena. Smooth, safe, fast. Traffic jams will be a thing of the past. I see a place where people get on and off the freeway. On and off all day, all night. Soon, there will be a string of gas stations, inexpensive motels, restaurants that serve rapidly prepared food, tire salons, automobile dealerships, and wonderful, wonderful billboards reaching as far as the eye can see. My God, it'll be beautiful.
While Eisenhower and Judge Doom envisioned a future of drivers and freeways, Walt Disney cashed in on this premonition, not unlike the short-lived House of the Future full of plastics. The theming underwent several changes over the years, but even today remains little more than just a faux futuristic racetrack.
In 1971, Walt Disney World opened the Grand Prix Raceway, theming it more to an international car race, and it was sponsored by Goodyear, who provided the car's tires. In 1994, during the remodeling of Tomorrowland, the attraction was named Tomorrowland Indy Speedway to coincide with the update. 5 years later, Disney partnered with Indianapolis Motor Speedway to add even more theming. The scoring pylon, the winged tire logo, and others were implanted to complete the setting. In 2008, Disney dropped Indy from its name, and it's now named the Tomorrowland Speedway.
There's little point in describing the attraction experience. There's no story, no movie tie-in, no interesting visuals, not even any music. Just climb into a car and drive along the 2,566-foot track. The main issue with this ride is you ride along a guide rail. You are unable to really, steer in any direction because the track guides you along. On one hand, traffic accidents and jams don't happen, but on the other hand, you get stuck behind a slow driver, you're out of luck.
Among its other flaws, the emissions. The cars emit a lot of noxious fumes, which seriously detracts any element of both a green future and Disney whimsy. As a whole, it's not unlike any go-kart track offered at your typical batting cage / miniature golf fun center, save for the guide rails, of course. But that begs the question, Why would you pay the kind of prices Disney charges for something you can ride at the go-kart track on Kissimmee's 192?
If you ask me, the ride could benefit from a few upgrades.
Do any of those upgrades involve arson?
Not all of them, no, but here's my idea. Just add a bunch of brightly colored spinning boxes on the racetrack. Yeah, and what you do is you drive through them, and you can get like a whole slew of power-ups. You know, like speed boost, banana peels, shrinking your opponents, invincibility,
And flinging turtle shells?
exactly.
And then they should make a video game out of it.
Absolutely right.
And it should star Super Mario and be played on the old Nintendo 64 game console.
Okay, dude, that's just spooky.
Seriously, what are your real thoughts?
I do not have good thoughts about this attraction.
Me neither.
Okay, the car shakes violently. There's that loud noise it makes. It's like you're driving a lawnmower. It's very loud. The noxious gasoline fumes just permeate the air. I mean, there are times where I'm spinning in the teacups and I can smell it. The gasoline all the way over there. There's no story. There's no competition between the racers. You can bounce the vehicles off each other. You're not supposed to, but it's rough. It's jarring. It's not fun overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole inhibition with the guide rails, it does make it a little bit safer than it could be. Because, I mean, just imagine what would happen if people were, like, doing all kinds of chaotic things on there.
I mean, we've seen people on racetracks outside of Disney, and we see that normal people can spin out and cause accidents. Just imagine how that happened at Disney.
Yeah, it would not be very good. It is made safer by Disney's little guide rails, but there's almost no fun factor here.
Especially if you get stuck behind that driver that's putting along at 1 mile an hour.
Oh yeah, and they just keep starting and stopping and starting and stopping.
And you're stuck behind them while the people are just passing you by.
Yeah. I think the loudness of the vehicles is really a big. I think that's probably the biggest problem. Even bigger, maybe, than the emissions problem. Although the emissions problem is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, consider the poor cast members that have to be there for hours and hours at a time, sometimes without a break.
Oh, bless their souls.
And just and whether you're young or old, that's just not good for your ears.
No.
But I think those are pretty big problems. But I think the largest problem, as far as being able to enjoy this attraction, from a critical standpoint, there is absolutely no theming to this whatsoever. I know that they put in some theming before with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and all that, but actually, you had mentioned to me that you had some ideas about how to better theme the Speedway and actually make it a viable attraction.
I do, and I just want to say, by sharing these online, I'm well aware of that, Disney's not going to make these because I say them. But if I can start like a grassroots campaign, that would just be awesome. So here's my 3 separate ideas for this. The least likable idea, number 3, a Cars 2 World's Grand Prix theme. Yes, Cars 2 is a horrible movie. I will agree with anyone on that. However, if they could at least theme it to the big race that was in the movie and kids could drive Mater and Lightning McQueen and Francesco and on, that would be pretty impressive. Just the theming alone, just a new coat of paint would be terrific.
Definitely.
My second idea, it's kind of a wacky racist parody.
Okay.
How would you like to drive Mr. Toad's Jalopy again? Or
That'd be cool.
Or better yet, Herbie, the Love Bug, or Lightning McQueen, the Tron Cycle, Cruella's car, the Test Track vehicle, or the limo from Rock and Roller Coasters, things like that.
It would definitely make it more of an entirely Walt Disney World experience.
Exactly.
I think that's probably the favorite idea.
The only downside is that there's only so many cars in Disney's canon. I mean, I know I would love to drive Herbie and a Tron cycle, or even Darkwing Duck's motorcycle.
You would, Mr. Crossover.
I'm the crossover fanboy. But I think my favorite idea, and I know at least one of our fans out there is going to love this, a Wreck-It Ralph themed ride. Just theme the pit area to like Fix-It Felix Jr. You climb into your little Sugar Rush cookie vehicle, and all of a sudden, like, a video monitor comes up. It's like, you gotta get to us over here at Sugar Rush. You gotta get through there through Hero's Duty. And then that's where the Tomorrowland theming comes in. You just drive through Hero's Duty, see the bugs and stuff like that. And then when the track ends near Fantasyland, it turns into Sugar Rush. I think that would be awesome.
I think that's some amazing armchair Imagineering there, Mr. Tap G. If anybody out there is listening that can get a few good words in for this guy, yeah.
Hint, hint. My first name is Tap, last name is G. But those are my ideas. In any case, this could really benefit from just a new coat of paint alone.
Pretty much anything could make this ride better than it already is. Just quieting down the cars, reducing the emissions. Even those small changes would be a great start.
As a whole, I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going with a 1.5 out of 5. And if these ratings sound familiar, it's the same thing we gave Stitch's Great Escape. This is kind of, I'm not going to say this is a detestable attraction, but it's just not good.
It really needs something to make it better. So,
Alright, so that's a 1.5 out of 5 from Surfer Clock and a 2 out of 5 from Tap G. Now, if you're still interested in taking a spin on the Tomorrowland Speedway, listen carefully to this next set of instructions. First, the absolute minimum height requirement to ride this attraction is 32 inches or 81 centimeters, so toddlers and infants will not be allowed to ride. If a child is no taller than 54 inches or 137 centimeters, but still meets the minimum height requirement of 32 inches, they may ride provided they can ride with someone who's at least 14 years old. But if your child wishes to ride alone, they may, as long as they are at least 54 inches, 137 centimeters, and at least 7 years old.
Those in wheelchairs and scooters must be able to transfer it into the car. Also, due to the shaky nature of the cars, you must be free of high blood pressure, heart, back, or neck problems. Not to mention the cars can collide with each other, though they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Those prone to motion sickness or are pregnant should skip Tomorrowland Speedway.
Now, who would enjoy the Speedway the most?
I know. Mario, Luigi, Toad, Princess Peach, Donkey Kong, Bowser, and Yoshi.
Let's focus on non-fictional entities, shall we, Tap G? It's a hard call. It's not for young kids except those who ride with their parents. Pre-teens and teens will be disappointed at just how slow the cars go and how you can't remove yourself from the guide rail.
Use it as a bonding tool. To have a parent or guardian drive around the track with a young child in the passenger seat without a whole lot of distractions is one of the better options in the Magic Kingdom for a one-on-one time. But as an attraction on its own, especially a Disney one, we suggest you look elsewhere.
Here at What's the Attraction, we will never steer you wrong. Mostly because we can't drive this podcast off the central guide rail.
Nope, we'll just fling turtle shells.
Okay, Tap G, our listeners get it. Tomorrowland Speedway is a lot like the Mario Kart Nintendo 64 video game. I think the joke is starting to wear a little thin.
Fine then. Thanks again, folks. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube.
I'm Surfer Clock.
And I'm up to no good.
And thanks for listening to What's the Attraction?
Where our work is your vacation.
I said cut it out!